Hi, everyone, and as always, thanks so much for tuning into the ShareGiving podcast and sharing it with those you know who can benefit. The podcast can be found wherever podcasts are distributed, and prior episodes are also housed on our website, along with lots of archival video, including the video versions of each podcast and other interesting and relevant material at sharegiversolutions.com. I'm Rob Stoller, your host, along with my brother David, who has been caring for his wife Barbara since she was diagnosed with early-onset Alzheimer's over a decade ago. Today we'll be presenting the third installment of A Day in the Life of a Sharegiver, that sharegiver being David. Last week, David walked us through a typical afternoon, which is rarely typical, and today we will look at what the evening and nighttime often hold. David, let's go.
Thanks, Rob. Hello, everyone.
I think we covered most of the morning and a good bit of the afternoon, and these are obviously overviews, but since so many of our listeners are sharing the care, we believe strongly this is helpful. So let's get into late afternoon, evening, and through the night.
Okay.
Take us through one of your evenings.
Okay, so I think we mentioned before, I did, that in the afternoon, whether I've been with Barbara all day or I'm picking up after the care provider that we have, we're fortunate enough to have, who leaves around 3:30 each weekday, I generally, at that point, take Barbara out. We go for a ride. You know, I'm a big believer in changing venue. As long as it's still part of a routine, I think it's a good thing to do. Afternoons can be tricky for a lot of people. Maybe many of you experience what they call, sundowning, which is in the afternoon. The weather starts to change a little bit. It may be that meds that your partner took earlier in the day are wearing off, or just the depletion, energy depletion that, takes place after a full day. It can have an effect, and it can lead to confusion or agitation, which sometimes happens in my case, where Barbara, who expends a lot of energy in the course of the day, walking around the house, talking a mile a minute.
She's exhausted.
Picking up things, putting them down.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of energy.
Plus, we really don't know how much extra energy is expended trying to communicate.
Correct.
It's an effort.
Yeah, and you can see it because a lot of times, whether or not what she's saying is intelligible, there's clearly emotion behind it, insistence behind it. There seems to be context that we can identify and even respond to. So yeah, I think which has to be true for many people with dementia, and Barbara, my wife in particular, by a certain point in the day, they're tired.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily have the energy or the medicated support that they had earlier. And this is what's loosely termed sundowning, at least in my experience. So I break it up. We go out. We go in the car. We're going on a road trip, and my whiteboard downstairs says road trip in the afternoon. Where do we go? We go anywhere. We drive, and driving for many people has its own rhythm and comfort. Play music. Usually it's the Beatles on Sirius XM, and she will respond.
There's something, and I don't know what it is, it's a comfort, but there's something about the car that Barbara is drawn to. I found her sitting in Lee's car when we were here last weekend for Mom's 95th. Barbara was just sitting in Lee's car in the driveway.
Yeah, and sitting happily.
Very content.
Yeah, I'm actually writing a poem right now about that, where the car is her refuge, and she'll seek it. Certainly when we get back from a trip, quite often, I'll go in the house and look around. Where'd she go?
The car.
And she's back there in the car, sitting happily in the car. she will, a lot of times when we are somewhere, she'll get in somebody else's car. She doesn't necessarily recognize, at least except in the most general sense, which is our car, but she's ready to get in somebody else's car.
Yeah.
The car is a refuge, and it's interesting. Maybe it's because it's close and it's comfortable.
I have a theory, and it was born out of living with my dog, Luke. Because Luke will often stay in the car. I can't pull him out. He'll come out maybe if Amy goes to get him or Sammy goes to get him, but he'll go to the other side. If I open this door, if I go around, he'll go to this side. And I believe it's because he knows I'm coming back there. Right. I'm going to be there. We're going to do something together in the car.
Home.
But I think, it may be similar with Barbara, that she knows you're going to be there at some point.
Yeah, it's comfortable. And comfort, I think, those kind of things remind her of the time that she was happy and comfortable. That's why, she doesn't do it as much as she did once before, but where she would say, I want to go home. I want to go home. I've always interpreted that as I want to be happy.
Yeah.
I want to be in the place where I'm happy.
Yeah, and I think she loves taking rides.
Yeah.
And the car is a fun, happy place for her.
And it may be that when we get home, she's not ready to get out. She's not ready for the ride to be over.
Yeah.
And no, she could stay in the car. And it's funny, I may forget. I'm calling over, Barb. And then I say, I bet she's in the car.
Yeah. Now, do you lock her in the car?
No, I don't. She sometimes chooses the back seat. Quite often she chooses the front seat, and maybe that also is reminding her of her days that she was more in control and she was the driver. But yeah.
Although she never sits in the driver's seat.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, often.
Huh.
And then if we have to go somewhere, prying her out of that driver's seat can be a challenge. She likes it there. But yeah, so the car is a big deal. So we take a ride. We take a ride always. If we go to a place that's really pretty or, like a local downtown in Stockton or something, sometimes we'll get out, take a walk. We don't really go in places like we might have before because that might be confusing to her, and it depends. But we go out and we go by car and we listen to music.
Now that's brings up a quick point, and you've spoken about it before, but again, for our listeners, our sharegivers, I think it requires a little more planning on your part now before you just take a ride and stop in somewhere. I know you've arranged for like a private viewing at an art gallery.
Yeah.
You may go to a restaurant if you still do a little early and make them aware you're coming. And so I know the spontaneity is gone and you need to just plan your movements a little bit.
You remind me, so the other night we went to, it was Friday night, and we observed Shabbat on Friday nights. So we make dinner. For years, we invited people to come over and join us, which we're about to start again. During the pandemic, as a nice reversal, people brought us dinner, which was fabulous. But so we went to our first Shabbat service this past Friday night, which outside in the parking lot of the temple. I had a little apprehension about it, and it was borne out a little bit by our experience, and it's actually worth relating because it was interesting. So at the service, which is full of music and prayers that are familiar to Barbara, I sat us on the outside ring. There were about 15 people there. In the event that Barbara, needed to get up or move around. Well, no sooner did we sit down and it started when Barbara was up, and she went right to the front where the rabbi was. Went over to the rabbi, hugged the rabbi, held the rabbi's hand. And I was sort of resisting the impulse to go bring her back. And then she started dancing to the music in front. I sort of let that go. And clearly almost everybody knew Barbara and were cool with it. At a certain point where she started to really encounter people that were sitting trying to be, I went over and took a walk. Well, she didn't want any of that. She was really shrugging me off.
Enjoying what she was doing.
Or worse. So I just sort of pulled her out, and then we took a walk all around the parking lot in the woods and this and that, and she was, hand in hand, and got calmed down, and we went back and we sat in our original seats, and for the most part, she was cool. She listened. Every time she would start to get up, I would lightly hold her shoulder. And then before it was over, but almost, she said she was cold and she wanted to go home. And spoke it really clearly. Mm. And we got up and we sat in the car because I didn't want to drive out with everybody still there. But we sat in the car. She was very happy, very comfortable. When the service was over, I went back out to say goodbye to a few people, including the rabbi. And, people said to me, and they're all friends, David, it's cool. If Barbara gets up and does this and that, it's okay with us. You're the one that's having a problem. And I said, well, it is okay to a certain point. But if you're in my position, number one, I really am sensitive to it being disruptive. It doesn't need to be. Barbara can have her experience. And number two, from my point of view, I'm also there to enjoy the service.
Of course.
And I can't really.
Yeah.
Under those circumstances. So I appreciate your saying what you are. And that does make me feel good that, this is cool with you. But we still have to manage it.
Well, it sounds like it could have been a lot worse.
Could have been much worse.
And you were also with a friendly, forgiving crowd.
Correct. Yeah, and the walk at a certain point was, I think, decisive. It sort of, again, changed venue, took her out of the moment.
Yeah.
If I really got upset about it, or pulled her into her seat, and, we would have had a bad scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have got worse.
And obviously these are all kind of cautionary tales for everyone listening.
Yeah. And
not so much cautionary, but experience is valuable. Yeah.
And also what she was experiencing may have been that same sundowning type thing. This was at 6 o'clock, which was prime time.
Yeah.
So, but back on Day in a Life, we'll get back from our ride. If she's still sitting in the car, I don't mind because it gives me a chance to do some things and maybe prepare dinner. She comes in, we're inside, and we'll have dinner. I try to change it up a little bit. We'll eat at the counter, we'll eat at the dining room table. If it's warm enough, we'll eat outside. Really like eating outside, obviously, looking at the river, and it's beautiful. If she wants to help me prepare dinner, which is in the loosest sense of the word, I welcome that. Oftentimes dinner is still in that period where she is restless. She might get up, she may take her food and go somewhere else and eat it or leave it there. She may I can find her using a pen or a pencil or a toothbrush instead of a utensil. I think this is pretty common for Barbara. I'm not sure why that happens. I'll gently correct her. But so we'll have dinner. After dinner, and that's usually at 6 o'clock. At 6:30 or so, I'll say each night, okay, you want to watch some TV? She'll always say yes. And we'll go and we'll either be watching something that's episodic or we'll watch a movie, whatever we watch. By 7:30, her eyes are closed. And I'll, if I say, Barb, are you enjoying this? And she'll say, Yes, through closed eyes. And by 8 o'clock, generally, I'll say, Barb, you want to go to bed? You ready? You tired? You want to go to bed? She'll almost always say yes. And she'll follow me up the stairs, or she'll go first. And I'm, pushing her a little bit. We get to the top of the stairs. She'll turn left, which is into the guest room, which is locked. She turns the doorknob. There's no go, and she'll accept that and turn the other way. Go into the bedroom. In the bedroom, first thing she'll do is start to climb into my side of the bed. That's a no-no. Which is not to say that I might find her later sleeping in my side of the bed or diagonally across the entire bed. But yeah, we'll get in bed. She'll get in bed with her shoes and fully clothed. I'll ask her if she wants to get in pajamas or at least take her coat off or whatever. And generally, it's okay. Take her shoes off, okay. Gets in bed. One thing I found is it's much easier to get her into bed and asleep if the bed is made. It feels more comfortable. The sheet is under the comforter and I think is snugger. It feels like a more complete experience somehow. I pull the sheet and the blanket up to her chin. I have her squinch down a little bit, which she actually does. It's pretty funny to see her do that. And within 5 minutes, she's asleep.
Now, admittedly, as you told me before, you feel pretty fortunate that her sleep patterns are so regular and strong. We can only assume that's not always the case. And again, I ask and urge our listeners to let us know your situation and how you deal with it, because we're all in this together. And the idea behind ShareGiving is just that. Let us know your triumphs, your difficulties, your solutions, and your questions.
Yeah. It occurs to me, I'm sure that many people don't have that same situation where their partner may be more restless or get up and down, may go to the bathroom or want to, and in this case, and probably for the last 6 months, I have Barbara wears Depends. She thinks they're panties, and she's really accommodated that. But, it is not unusual for her to have accidents, and that helps a lot. But I think one of the things that might be helpful that I've learned by experiencing it, is if Barbara or whomever expends a lot of energy during the day, they're going to be more tired at night and more likely to sleep during the night.
Yeah.
So as opposed to being very sedentary, like many people are, sitting in a corner or sitting in front of a TV and just nodding off.
Yeah.
That is not the case. We are walking. She is walking. She is active. And she gets tired.
Right. It's like, I imagine people who typically nap all day don't sleep at night. It's a natural connection.
Correct. So yeah, she is tired and she has spent a lot of energy. And I think it should be part of the ShareGiver strategy to, make sure that she's, if not worn out, that she is depleted. And it's also, let's face it, good for the ShareGiver, because this gives me time in the evenings when I write. It really gives me a chance to reload also that wouldn't be possible if I had to really sit there and, attend.
Yeah.
To her.
Yeah. These are all words to the wise. Put your game plan together to enable you to have some quiet time on your own, quality time on your own.
Right, and carrying through to the morning. So I think we already covered morning, but I also know that I have a pretty good idea of how long she'll sleep. I get up early. I, make my own coffee and get ready. Although I am clearly listening for her. if she gets up really early, before 6 o'clock, I will go up. I'll say, "Hey, Barb, it's still really early. It's middle of the night. Go back to sleep and I will come get you in an hour. And I'll bring you coffee and etc." And she likes that. It's something, okay, that sounds great. I'll look forward to that. And she'll go back to sleep. If I were just to say, "It's too early, just go back to bed."
Yeah, not going to work.
It won't work.
Yeah.
She'll be up and she won't be happy.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a natural law.
Yeah. Except that I'm programmed to go back to sleep. In an hour, I'm going to come get you. I'll have coffee and you'll have a great morning.
Right. If you make everything sound inviting and nice,
right,
it's probably going to work out better.
Yeah, listen, again, the reality is for all of us, myself included, it doesn't always work out. And this is a progressive disease. So I may have it better than many, even if Barbara is in what the neurologist would say is in the moderate to advanced stage. So things are going to change. But the more, as you just said, we can have a game plan, we can anticipate things, we can be doing things to make it easier for ourselves and for our partner, the better.
Yeah.
And that's part of sharing the experience. We both need for this to work as best it can.
Yeah. And, one of the overarching issues and questions is specifically what form of dementia Barbara has. It's still such a mystery.
Yeah.
A quick anecdote from the weekend. We had a bunch of people here celebrating our mom's 95th, and some friends were taking a picture with David, and as I learned, asked Barbara if she wanted to be in the picture, and she said, "Yes, I'm his wife."
Yeah.
Which had to come like a shock.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Listen, we know. All of us have had the experience of things that are unexpected. Not everybody that suffers dementia has the kind of language issues that Barbara has. There are different kind of issues. I mean, ultimately, language, both comprehension and speaking, becomes an issue. In Barbara's case, it happened a lot earlier. And they speculate now. The most expert of the experts are recognizing that this is a heterogeneous, disease, these various syndromes that express themselves as dementia. But
well, I mean, if you said, "Hey, Barbara, who's your husband?" I'm sure that would be a difficult question to answer.
Yeah.
But out of the blue and somewhere within her, she knows you're her husband and she's your wife.
She should be in the picture.
The wife stays in the picture.
Yeah, Christina, who takes care of Barbara during the day, during the week, said to me the other day, she was cooking something and set the timer for 15 seconds, and Barbara watched her and counted to 15.
Yeah.
Like she was the timer, perfectly.
Yeah.
So
strange. The mind is a strange place.
So we can look forward to those moments, but we can be prepared for whatever may come up. That is the mindset, among other things that we need to have.
That also brings up another point. If you are seeking help in your caregiving and sharegiving, David was given some advice when looking for a helper, and I think primarily she found someone who kind of left her ego at the door.
Yeah.
Doesn't take things personally.
Right. It's pretty unflappable, and also, in this case, had a background that really believed in service and family that I was able to learn as I was interviewing various people. So that's a big deal. I have help. I have dealt with care providers that are professionals, but if it's not going the way they want it to go, they can get, upset or, it's a hard job.
Yeah.
And so it is best to get somebody that really doesn't take it personally, that really doesn't have an ego.
It's hard enough for you not to take it personally.
Yeah.
That's a mindset. You need a a helper who's also got a mindset.
Right. So, it's a good point. And I'm really fortunate because sometimes I hear Barbara, even from up here, giving Christina the business. I mean, capital B. And I'll go down sometimes and say, Barb. And Christina will hold up a hand to me and say, it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Go back upstairs.
That's a huge win for you.
Yeah.
And again, another word of advice is choose your help discerningly.
Yeah, it's hard to find people like that, but it really helps. Again, everything we should be doing is empowering and enabling us as well as assuring the best care for our partner.
Well, it seems we've gotten through a day in the life, and the whole day is comprised of activities which can be beneficial to the partner and engaging and enjoyable for the caregiver.
Yeah, it is a journey every day and a journey over the long haul. And obviously, I wish everybody out there well and certainly available. As Rob said earlier, we'll have an opportunity on our website, which is sharegiversolutions.com, to send in questions, things that you might like to be addressed, or techniques or solutions that you have developed that work for you that we'd love to share with everyone.
And our plan is ultimately to make available to our listeners and caregiver members a form of a whiteboard or a plan in creating your daily game plan. Because it's so important, even if you don't necessarily stick to it to the letter, it's certainly valuable to have a structure going into the day.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to bet, as we said before, mine is very prominent. As you go in and out of the door, it's right there to the side. And Barbara never fails to look at it. And she even traces with her index finger, the activities. Even if it's not really meaningful to her, she sort of knows that this is for her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we will we'll speak more about that, and again try to make these types of things available to everybody to make your lives easier and more rewarding.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much for listening, and continue to do so. Hopefully it's helpful. We enjoy doing it, and we'll do it again next week.
Great.
Thanks so much.
So
bye-bye. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope you found the evening installment of A Day in the Life worthwhile, informative, and helpful, as well as enjoyable. If you have an opportunity, please visit the Sharegiver Solutions website, tell us who you are, leave thoughts about caregiving, and perhaps share a bit about your situation. Each situation is different, as dementia is progressive. So some caregivers have received a recent diagnosis for their loved one, while others, like David, are on the other side of the caregiving curve. Wherever you are on this difficult journey, your questions, input, and experience can help the community at large, as we hope and believe this podcast does. Until next week, be well, share more, and be good to yourself. David, let's sing, brother.
Let's do it.
I got shoes, you got shoes, all God's children got shoes. When I get to heaven, gonna put on my shoes. I'm gonna walk all over God's heaven. Heaven, heaven. When I get to heaven, gonna put on my shoes. I'm gonna walk all over God's heaven. Right on.
Right on.